I just got back from Cerakote certified applicator training, and in this video, I'm going to tell you all about it. Gavin here from UltimateReloader.com. Anybody that's been watching the channel for a while knows that I love to get hands-on and do custom rifle work. I've done a ton of custom rifle builds here on the channel with ARs and chambering rifles, building ultra precision bolt action rigs, and so on and so forth. Recently, you might have seen my Eddie Van Halen tribute rifle. This is a bench rest rifle that I did a complete custom paint job with using automotive style paint. This got me reinterested in painting and coatings work, and I have a ton of rifles with Cerakote. I've been following this technology for a long time. I decided it was time to do it. So I reached out to the folks at Cerakote. They said, come on down and take the training, come and meet the team, get hands-on with this material, this technology, the equipment, the process. And I said, absolutely. So I got in on the schedule and made my trek down. Fortunate for me, I'm only 9 hours drive from White City, Oregon, where Nick Industries is located. Nick Industries is actually the parent company. There's Prismatic Powders, which is the powder coating side of the business. And then there's Cerakote, which is the ceramic thin film coatings side of the business. This was a killer drive. I listened to every Led Zeppelin album, from the very first album to the very last album. I didn't run out of steam with it, and I chose to take a little side trip to Crater Lake, which is an absolutely stunning destination. If you happen to drive by, you're going to want to check that out. So I rolled into White City, Oregon late in the evening, got a good night's sleep, and was ready for day one. So after my customary heavy dose of caffeine, I rolled up to Nick Industries, checked in at reception, and proceeded to meet members of the team, and we rolled straight into a conference room for a tech debriefing. One thing you'll understand shortly after arriving at Nick Industries, if you take this training, is this company has things absolutely figured out. They have great products, but they also have a complete end-to-end mindset with regard to how to deal with customers, how to equip customers for success, and then how to train people so that they can use these products effectively. In this tech deep dive, we covered a lot of the different Cerakote products, like H Series, which is a two-part that you're going to find on a lot of firearms. Elite Series, which has a little bit of a glossier appearance, is still two-part, so it's a catalyzed product. It's got enhanced corrosion resistance. There's C Series, which is an air cure product, which is an interesting alternative, maybe for something that won't fit into an oven, that kind of thing. One of the products that grabbed my attention was C110 Micro Slick, which is one of the air cure products. It has very low friction characteristics, and I'm kind of curious about it for things like bolt carriers for an AR and receiver and bolt applications for bolt action rifles. One thing I understood was there was a lot more research to do. We learned how to read the technical data sheets and understand which products are going to be best for which applications. They had some really cool demonstration videos. It was a really great way to understand the product portfolio from a technical perspective before diving deep into the training. After lunch on day one, we dove straight into the training process. We went down to the paint booth area, which Cerakote has absolutely dialed to perfection. They've got precision scales, they've got an iPad, there's an iOS and Android app for Cerakote that has all of the products listed and mix ratios for your catalyst. So we mixed up some paint. We took the Iwata 0.8mm gun, which I have here. We learned about how to take it apart, how to dial in all of the settings. And when it came time to applying paint, guess what the first project was? It was a Glock slide, which I was very happy to see, because this Glock 21 Police Trade-In I bought specifically to mill the slide for a red dot and do a full custom Cerakote paint job with. So that will be coming up later on the channel. I was very interested in applying Cerakote to the Glock slide, and this was a great way to learn that octagonal pattern where you take 8 different sides, you basically take the 4 quadrants, and then you split the difference and go on 45s from there. So there's a very specific pattern, there's a very specific way to set up the gun with the appropriate fan. We checked that on a test paper on the side of the paint booth. Everybody gets a one-on-one instructor assignment, which is totally awesome. Learned exactly what to look for in the pattern, learned exactly how to alternate the direction for the application of the Cerakote to make sure that all the surfaces are coated equally, learned exactly what to look for in terms of the reflection of the light. This was absolutely awesome. I used to work at an auto body shop. Let me tell you, the training there was very loose and casual compared to this. So I'm used to guns like this. This is an HVLP gun for automotive paint work. And you know, when you compare that with the Iwata, this is the LPH 80, it's like having a scalpel compared to a machete. So it took me a little bit of time to not bump the air control with my pinky and to get the feel of it in my hand. But man, once I got going, we did 2 or 3 Glock slides, looking really good. Then we turned our attention to AR-15 lowers and uppers. And it turns out that when you want to get inside different crevices and areas and pockets and holes and channels, there's some very specific fine point finesse that's needed. And just like with painting cars, if you can see the reflection of the wet material, you can do a great job. If you can't see, you're just stabbing in the dark. So these were some really, really great fundamentals. At the end of day 1, I felt like I had a solid handle on the process end to end. Then came day 2, another strong dose of caffeine. I rolled into Nick Industries. We got down and dirty with this project. I'm a huge fan of multicam, and so we decided that was going to be the project. I had brought a couple arrow lowers. I've got this AR-10 style lower here and this AR-15 lower. So we actually completed 2 projects. The green splinter, which involves metallic clear and some different tones of flat green. As you can tell, I'm really, really obsessed with green. It is definitely my favorite color. And then we had all of the parts here for the lower and the magazine for the AR-15. We started at the blast cabinet, and this was awesome. I got to get hands-on blasting all these parts. You run full pressure for some of the metal parts, and then for the plastic, like this buttstock, like the grip, like the magazine, we turned our pressure down to, I think it was about 30 or 40 pounds per square inch, because we're basically just giving the surface, you know, a kind of a more of a deglazing rather than the heavy hit that's needed for the harder metallic objects. And the point is not to completely remove the anodizing, for instance, on the lower. It's to get the right surface texture so that the Cerakote can properly bond to it. So we degreased everything, we put it through the blast cabinet, and then we gave all of the parts the base coat of green. So we're just doing a solid application of green to everything. And following that, we used the vinyl cutter. We printed out some stencils, and we got to work with multiple layerings with stencils. And this involved spraying a coat, and we're very careful about the application here. We don't want to apply too much material because the stencils will apply ridges, and you don't want those ridges. And this is where Cerakote, being a thin film material, is really helpful, because you can apply a very thin film, maybe a 1/2 of an inch if needed, and put that in the oven, cure it, put on more stencils. The process repeats. We did a little bit of hand holding of stencils to speed up the processes and get a little bit of a different effect. It was a lot of work. But by the end of the day, I had all of the parts that you see here on the AR-15 Cerakoted, and we did multiple renditions of different parts that I wanted to use as a kind of a training ground for different types of materials. Here's a solid metallic that we did on an aluminum AR-15 magazine. We've got the AR-10 style magazine and the lower with the green multi-tone splinter. Definitely challenging, definitely awesome to have someone there, a total expert to guide you every step of the way. So on the long drive home, I had a lot to think about. I was brainstorming some really cool projects and getting really excited about getting my Cerakote shop set up. I've got this entire extension on the building, some dedicated space, but I still have a lot of work to do. I've got to get ventilation and filtration, an oven, a blast cabinet, a solvent tank, and a bunch of other things put together. A complete paint shop is a really big investment, but I learned talking to the folks at Cerakote and other folks in the industry, there's a huge business opportunity for folks that want to go into the coatings business. Cerakote is a great product to focus on, and if you go to take their certified applicator training, you're going to be a part of their network. You're going to have a page on their certified applicator website. Customers are going to be able to find you, give ratings, you'll have a portfolio. This is really, really cool stuff. And I'm going to document all of this here on the channel. I'd also like to do some more really cool Cerakote projects and go deep into some of these specific products and their applications. Here's what I would like to know is, are you interested in Cerakote? Are you doing Cerakote? Drop a comment, tell us what you're doing, tell us how it's going. Okay, I got my work cut out for me, so I'm going to go get to it. That concludes this video, and that means it's time to wrap it up. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Also, make your voice heard. If you have something to say, please drop a comment. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications because you're not going to want to miss the awesome content that is coming up. And finally, flex your reloading pride. You could look great in one of these t-shirts. We've got multiple designs at the Ultimate Reloader store. I'll see you later because I'm off to go shooting.